So here's my list of things that I dislike about this machine. And keep in mind, I'm not a machinist, and there may be solutions for this already that I just don't know about. But as you can tell, we're pretty particular about our machines. We try to keep them clean, maintenance, and just looking nice, because these are nice machines, and we want them to stay that way. One of the things that I wish they would kind of address is, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but when the door opens, it drips oil. And I purposely didn't 3S that today because I knew we were going to do this video, and I wanted to point that out. I really wish they'd have some kind of a wiper up there to keep that from happening. We clean it every time we use the machine, so that's just something we've gotten used to. But it would be fantastic if they would they'd take care of that. So the next thing that I kind of wish that they would add to this, and they may have this, and I just, again, I'm super novice at this, is a safety zone that you can set up for your chuck. I can't tell you how bad it scares me about running my turret into my chuck. I will ruin a part, the first part, not running coolant, just to make sure that I'm not about to ruin the machine. I know on the tailstock you can add a safety zone for the turret. I just kind of wish that they had something for new guys like myself, somebody that's inexperienced and running one of these machines. One of the other things that I wish they would kind of address is on the console. If you notice, I've had this machine for a year. I still have the plastic on this machine because if you may or may not be able to see this, but the letters is starting to rub off, and so I wanted to keep this on here so my letters didn't end up being a blank. And I'm new enough to this machine to know that if I miss or rub off the Z-face measure, I won't have to look at a picture every time just to make sure that I am not doing something wrong. So that's one thing that I wish they would fix or have a better solution. So somebody out there, if you want a job opportunity as far as starting your own company, creating replacement protectors would be big. I would buy a year's supply. One other thing that I think that I would really like to see changed, and this may be a safety thing, and it's super minor, but I wish the glass was 1 inch further back, because when you're coming up close with tooling, and I mean really close, you really get that parallax effect because the glass is offset by an inch or two. I don't know what it is, but it would be really nice if you could see the part and the end of the chuck right there. So this last item, I really feel like I'm kind of petty on this because I really like my machines to stay nice and look new. And that's on the inside of the machine. I really kind of wish that they had some kind of a protective, replaceable piece of sheet metal here because the paint has been rubbed off from chips hitting it. It's like a sandblaster, and it'd be nice if that was just not even painted, or there was kind of a replaceable surface that kind of took the brunt of a lot of those chips. Again, that's probably super petty, and I'll live with it. It's not that big of a deal, but to me, it just makes the machine look bad. And like I said, these are really nice machines, and I like the look of them. So this next item that I really dislike about this machine, it probably caused me the most grief. I was, when I figured this was how it worked, I was very angry about this. And the fact that no one at the factory caught this really agitated me even more. So the problem is this. On a big bore kit, you have basically this spindle liner that brings it down to a 3-inch ID, and to get this out is a real chore, which I'll go through in a second. But if you're going to turn or use a 4-inch piece of material through the center, this has to come out. The problem with this is the following. This sheet metal, all of this had to come off in order to get this out. If you'll notice, it has some flats machined on here. So when I tried to pull this out, this was about a 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch on both of the flats, too tall. So I couldn't even get it out of the machine. And like I said, I'm a job shop. So I can be running a 4-inch piece of material at 9 a.m. and a 1/2-inch piece of material at 10 a.m. So being able to swap that out quickly is imperative. That's one of the reasons the spindle liners I really have a problem with, because there's no easy way to get them out unless you start or create or make a hook that sticks all the way in and pulls it out. So my solution to that was after I got this off, and I was not happy, I stuck this in my manual mill and took off exactly, I think, a 1/4. It may have been 3/8. I don't remember exactly. So now I can take this in and out of the machine without having to take the sheet metal off. And that is probably my largest complaint about any problem I've had on this machine. That was it. My next thing that I really dislike about this machine is this gap right here. So you're supposed to be able to push multiple length material. Well, there is, it's almost 2 feet. There's almost a 2-foot gap between where the material is supported here to where it goes into the spindle liner. So what that means is if you're not pushing 48 inches, it's going, as soon as it gets over the cantilever of the piece of material, it's going to fall forward. So we just don't cut anything less than 48 inches. If I have something less than that, I'll feed it from the front and then manually do that. That was a very big disappointment, because everything online that you see, this is like right here and this box isn't here. So I don't know what the deal with this box or why it's like that, but as you can see, that bar feeder is very far from that spindle, and I wish they would address that. So in conclusion, do I like this machine? Absolutely. I love this machine. Would I buy another one? Would not hesitate. Yes, it has a few minor hiccups or things that I wish were different, but I would not trade this machine for anything. I really like this machine. I really depend on this machine. Like I said, the few things that really bugged me, I can live through, but it really is a good machine. The ROI on this thing is fantastic. It's very quick to get up and running. With a local tool supplier, you can get tools that you need fairly quick and just about run whatever job. So in closing, I hope this really helped. If you're looking at purchasing one of these machines, or you have doubts whether you have the skill to run one or it's going to be too hard to learn, keep in mind I'm not a machinist. I never ran any type of equipment remotely similar to this. So if I can learn it, anybody can learn it. And but there are a few gotchas that, not really gotchas, but just things that you should be aware of. And if you fully understand this is kind of a limitation, then there's really no surprises. And so I tried to do my best to kind of outline most of my surprises that I ran into during my year of using this machine. So I hope that was helpful.